Tonight, we return to the ruins back near the Mahoning River in Youngstown, Ohio. The steel mill that once stood there has long since been removed. Now only woods remain, but the ground is heavy with memory. This is where, when I was 14 years old, I had my nightmare encounter with the Dogman. And tonight, I'm going back. I'll be honest, I didn't sleep that night before. I couldn't eat all day. And as we got closer, my nerves got stronger and stronger. Walking into those woods again was like something I'll never forget. As we neared the Mahoning River, the weight of its history hit me like a Mack truck. This river stretches over 110 miles from Columbiana County through Youngstown and into Pennsylvania. For decades, the steel mills used it like a dumping ground, pumping in scalding toxic runoff. The result, sediments so polluted it couldn't even be dredged safely. Fish you're warned not to eat. Some call it one of the most poisoned waterways in Ohio. We pushed in as far as we could. The growth was so thick, it was nearly impossible to move through. That's when we found it, a large patch of flattened brush, like something had bedded down there. Huge pushed down area right in the middle of this thicket of woods. Not deer, not small game. Something big made this. And along the way, clear signs of movement, something making its rounds in this very stretch of woods. By the time we made it back to camp, the unease was already thick in the air. And soon it was clear we were not alone. Something was circling us just beyond the tree line, too far to see, but close enough to hear. And what we heard wasn't four legs, it was two. Every time we walked, it walked. When I stopped, it stopped. And the moment I shined my light toward it, the sound vanished, only to start again when I moved. But here's what really unnerved me. Every time these ATVs passed in the distance, we were far. I mean, it took us 45 minutes probably to get where we were, around about the time it took to get to this area when I was only 14 with my friends. There were these guys riding ATVs all night long, even when we were leaving, deeper into the woods than we even went. So whatever they were doing definitely bothered whatever this was. Something about their noise and lights seemed to scare it off. The footsteps would retreat only to return once the engines faded away, like it was waiting for the right moment or something. And then Mike did something we didn't expect. He pulled out not one, but two Ouija boards. One of them glowed in the dark. Dave and I were not very happy, obviously, to see it. I was the first to react, and I said, "Nope, I'm good." Dave followed suit and said, "I'm good too. We're not going to, play with that." And I then said, "Well, you know what, Mike? You're free to do that. Why don't we film you using it?" And he started to do things to get things ready, and he lit a couple candles, placed them on the board, and then he started. He asked for something to show itself. That's when things started. As he asked the question, a wave of dizziness hit me. Not normal dizziness. This was different. This was like heavy and it was strange. It was definitely not the normal paranormal. Minutes later, something else started to occur. I started to see black dots, and I wanted them to know that I wasn't feeling well. And if I went out, this is what happened and this is what's going on. So we were recording. Dave had actually moved so he could get both me and Mike in the picture. I was close up on the board with my camera, and then it happened. Something or someone literally flicked my right ear. Well, I completely lost it. I turned around and started freaking out. Um, there's going to be a lot of beeps in the camera. Let's just put it that way. And you're going to have two views, Dave's and mine. I don't really know how to explain what happened. I reacted loud, startled, and like I said, it's all on camera and it's bleeping glory. That's never happened to me ever in my life before. It definitely got my attention. After that, Mike shut the board down. He said goodbye and put everything away. David asked me if I was ready to start putting things away and leave. And I said, no, I'm not actually. I would like to do a heavy EVP session. So we did, and we did it for quite a while. Just like you see on all these other shows, once we were done, we played the recorder. I was pretty disappointed the first 90% of that recorder. But then as it got towards the very end, we got something that sent chills down my spine when I heard it. There was breathing, not from me, not from Dave or Mike, definitely something noticeable, and we all heard it. Something else was there with us. All of this happened right here along the Mahoning River. Also, you have to think, is it possible that they might have made this steel mill and put it on top of an Indian burial mound? It's very well known that dogmen are sometimes found around cemeteries and Indian burial mounds. Something caused unrest in that steel mill, especially the night I was there. We didn't see the dog man that night, and I don't know if that makes me relieved or disappointed. I wanted closure, I wanted answers, but maybe those answers aren't ready yet. Maybe this was too soon for him. The story isn't finished. I'll return with Christopher Garitano when we film my story. And who knows what will happen when the sun goes down again in Youngstown. Guys, you have any questions?